Okay, welcome back to another episode of Slights and Men. I'm Benji, I'm Jacob. Not to be confused, we switched places from the last video. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're just listening, no worries. Go check out our YouTube channel, The Daily Magician, and you'll get some lovely visuals to go along with the audio. In this podcast, we are going to be talking about any card, any number, discussing some of the best versions of the plot over the years, why magicians care about this plot so much, how we can make it more entertaining, more fooling, and what new any card at any number effect might we like to see in the future. Those are a couple of the topics we're going to touch on. Sound good?
Yeah. Did you say I'm Benji, I'm Jacob?
What-
What
What's
did
wrong
you
with
say?
that?
I mean, I guess, sure, yeah.
Oh, did I say that? I don't remember actually.
I think you might have said and, but it sounded like it could have been I'm.
Yeah, I'm Benji, this is Jacob, is what I meant to say.
Just a little bit of a split personality today.
But it's because I'm sat here, maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
took on my persona.
and then I did the intro, I don't know.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was too
Yeah.
much. Yeah. Awesome. Well, we're just off the back of filming the YouTube video for Any Card A number. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully you should be able to go see that very soon, or it's already out. I don't know exactly what the title will be at this point, but something to do with Any Card A
Yeah.
number. And it was a lot of fun, honestly. I thought it would be fun because the Any Card A number plot is really good, but I didn't think it'd be quite so fun. I really did enjoy getting into all the methods, seeing your original method. This is a plot that I actually genuinely really enjoy. Um, I mean, I guess it's kind of like what we've talked about in the past, like the witch hand plot or stuff like that. There's not any plots in Magic where I'm like, yeah, I want to see like 20, 30 different versions of that. But this one really does kind of tick those boxes for me. So it was a lot of fun to just, dive into it and get to know the plot a lot better and get to know all the different methods that are out there. It's always fun when you kind of do a deep dive on a plot like this because you start to kind of feel the mechanics of it a lot better than you would perhaps otherwise. It's kind of like, oh, so this one starts with a force, and then they go to the deck, or oh, interesting, like that looks kind of like a different type of deck. Like you just start to feel out how all the different ones go. Oh, that looks like kind of like stack work. So it's really fun when you kind of get that like full picture, or at least a more full picture of all the different mechanics that are going on for any routine.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Nothing else to add.
Nice.
End of podcast. Nah, yeah, I agree. I was just thinking in my head, I was debating, you were talking about the video, and I was like, we should maybe really quickly go over our key takeaways as far as each trick that we talked about, but maybe let's not spend too much time discussing them, the ins and the outs, because basically we have a YouTube video all about that, and it's honestly pretty similar to this, just us sat at a desk talking about it. So if that's what you want, just go to the video. Maybe going to skim through these and then move into like the new topics and stuff that we didn't talk about as much on that video.
Yeah. So we reviewed quite a lot. Sorry if we missed any from the video, but I guess let's just kind of go with a quick take. We can just look at the ones that are in front of us. Talked about Atomic Deck. Again, if you want kind of a full take on that, go look at the YouTube video. But yeah, not the ultimate any card, any number in our opinions, but a very solid effect nonetheless. Clever thinking going on.
Yeah, and over there, while we're looking at this corner of the table, The Grail by A.C.A.A.N. Jacob was a big fan of it. I liked it, but I think Jacob was very especially taken with it, so maybe I'll let him talk about it.
Yeah, I thought the Grail was really solid. I just thought it was very clever. It uses a mechanic that I, strangely enough, wasn't unaware of previously, but it uses that mechanic in a really quite clever way. And I really enjoyed it. I thought just as an overall product, it was very well put together and also just kind of quite easy to pick up. And it makes you feel, and maybe that's what it is, honestly. It makes you feel very clever without necessarily you having to be very good at what you're doing. I think that's what I like the most. Like it has like enough, it's like enough difficulty that you feel like, oh man, that's cool that I pulled that off. But it's also like easy enough that you can really start performing with it, like within a few hours of
that makes sense. That's a good way of putting it. And it bears some similarities in some components to methods that we talked about in Skyscraper, the Skyscraper method 2.0.
Yeah.
And so I think we had some affinity for it there. You can check out Skyscraper 2.0 at thedailymagician.com. Have some great any card any numbers in that project too. So there was that. We talked about Ice Cold any card any number, which honestly, now that I think about it, like, how did you find that one? Because there's so many any card A numbers out there, and that's quite a random one for us to just put in the video, I feel like.
Yeah, it is.
Well, like, what made you pick that one?
Honestly, just like I think. Well, at first I thought it was Lloyd Barnes who came up with it.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if maybe he did work on the method. I definitely heard his voice in the tutorial. But that was kind of the first thing. I was just like on Illusionist. I wanted to find an any card at any number, and I liked Lloyd's work. So at first I thought it was his work. It's not. Shout out to Mitchell who actually came up with it. But yeah, honestly, it was probably more serendipitous than anything.
Serendipitous,
It was
yeah.
just kind of like I was on Illusionist. I knew we were going to be learning any card at any number methods. I'd seen a few things about the ice cold method. I liked Lloyd's work, so I wanted to check it out. But really, there's nothing more deep than that.
Cool.
Yeah,
But it was good, basically. Surprisingly, looking back now that we filmed the video, it was one of my favorite.
I think you actually reacted quite strongly to it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Honestly, I rated it. I rated it for sure.
yeah. I think again, it's just like we've said it in the video, but as a beginner, any kind of number, I don't think you could really go wrong.
And now that I think about it, you could probably adapt it to make it even more fooling. Okay, I think we're getting some of this. This is pretty exciting. Just name any card.
Okay, 7 of diamonds.
7 of diamonds. Cool.
Mhm.
And then just name any number, 1 to 52.
14.
14. Okay, so you want 14, 7 of diamonds.
Yeah.
Cards have been in the box this whole time. We can
Correct.
deal them face up. It's so fair.
That is very fair.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Remind me, was it 13 or 14?
Okay, 14. I think.
14, okay.
Yeah.
And we're on 11, so 12, 13. Right here, the 14th card. 7 of diamonds.
Very nice. Yeah, I like that a lot. I really do like that a lot, honestly. I think that's really nice. Yeah, true. You don't even have to. Yeah, fully examinable. Okay, so for anyone listening who's like, "What the frick am I
Mhm.
listening to right now?" Basically, I mean, what am I going to do? Describe an Anaconda animal to you? But basically, how this looked was
Mhm.
just like, and you just pulled the deck out of the box and just dealt straight to it. Like there was no,
That's really nice.
there was no like funny business,
Yeah.
no like dropped cards in the box, nothing like that. It was just
Mhm.
straight like, boom.
Yeah.
And also, he spread the deck out afterwards, so it was fully,
And we dealt face up,
yeah.
and it was
And he dealt face up, so you can see there was no
Jacob
duplicates.
named any card, any number.
Wow.
That's really nice.
Honestly, I'd put that S tier. I think that's like really good.
I'm not gonna lie, I really like that.
Yeah.
I don't really know where we go from here because that's like I was not expecting that, but that's so funny because yeah, that is just really cool.
Yeah, it's just really, really good.
That's I
Yeah.
will 100% do that.
Yeah, no. I mean, why would you not?
Why would you not?
It's just so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy, and it's better in a lot of ways. I mean, there's like moves, I guess, in both. Like if you were just going to use stack,
You mean better than the normal stack version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's pros and cons to both. But
Mhm.
I personally feel like I would take the one con on this
Yeah.
versus like the cutting and all the like stressing going to that.
Wow.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I mean, that I honestly might have just like not watched the tutorial far
Yeah.
enough. In which case, we should amend our tier list.
Yeah.
Because like he might have
Yeah.
like I can't imagine he didn't think about that.
Surely.
And if he did, like wow.
Yeah, it's funny because like coming to it organically like this and going through that process of discovery and being like, wait a minute, that works.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. If it was just in the tutorial, like I hope it would have hit as hard. I don't know if
Yeah.
it would have, but like seeing it like this, it's a cool way of seeing like having us come up with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what, that's
All right, so we just watched the tutorial back. We did find it like 3-second throwaway line, basically saying like you could use stack. I know Lloyd uses mnemonica, so there it is. Shout out to Lloyd Barnes.
shout out.
I'm not going to say great minds think alike, but great minds think alike. So yeah, I mean that's really really cool. That was
Yeah.
fun to discover that together.
That's fun, yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Maybe we'll explore a bit more. I don't know how much we showed or could talk about in this little podcast because obviously we really don't want to reveal the method to anyone. But wow, that's really strong.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
I think that bumps it up to S, I'd say, or maybe even at least A.
yeah, and in terms of usability, again, going back to biggest criteria for me is usability.
Mhm.
Like, it already felt like one of the most usable tricks we talked
Yeah.
about. Now it's 100% I will use this.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just so
Of
it's so
all the
straightforward.
tricks we talked about, this is probably, like, the most likely that I'll be using it,
Yeah.
aside from my own trick, obviously. But even that, I'm 50/50, like, I feel
Mhm.
like they're on equal levels, or similar levels at least.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
It's really good.
it's just really good, and regardless of whether or not we came up with it, or Lloyd, or, Mitchell, or just whoever, like, doesn't really matter at the end of the day. This is just a really cool principle,
Yeah.
and glad we got that little moment in the video.
Yeah, that's very fun. Also, we should say when we're talking about, like, kinda like AS for, like, what the heck are you talking about? We did a tier list,
Mm.
uh, and tier lists on the internet go, like, S is top, and it's A, B, C, D, and F. At first, we had this in B, I think.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, this would definitely at least move it up to A,
Mhm.
realizing what you can do with it
Yeah.
here. Um, I don't know if it really I can't see how much worse it is than, like, the ones we put in S. So, like, it
Yeah.
could be, like, top of A, bottom of S.
Very pushing, for sure.
But yeah, that was fun. I'm really glad we got
Yeah.
makes this podcast, feel like it has its own legs to have that little discovery in it as
Yeah,
well, for
definitely.
sure.
Love it.
Yeah. I guess next, let's just talk about stack and kinda all the different stack methods that we just reviewed. I guess we kinda delved a little bit into that here, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, basically, we just said you can use stack, and it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, A.C.A.A.N.s method is pretty much like
Oh, are we
legend.
talking about as wind as well within
Yeah,
this?
I'll count him in there
Sure,
with the
sure, sure.
stack. Yeah.
Yeah, so we rated that as probably, like, the most clean but surefire. You know what I mean? Like, the most clean while still not relying on too much, like, jazzing and improvisation. The most
Yeah.
surefire but clean method, I
And
think,
also just
goes
like
to
a
SUN.
completely like examinable,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
it's just like it
Yeah.
completely cleans itself up. It's
Mhm.
just one not even seen moment. It really is
Mhm.
just it's very, very
It's
solid.
really good, yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's where you would if you were like super proficient at Wins method and you can just do it flawlessly, maybe you would like it could still fight with like ice cold. I mean ice cold only cut it a number a little bit because there is like a moment in both, but I still think Wins is stronger.
Yeah, I think if you can do ASCII wins, and it's not hard for you, then probably you would do
Which is
that.
why it has to be an S. I mean, it's
But I
just
guess in certain more, I don't know, impromptu settings where you're borrowing a deck and you don't
yeah,
there's like there's a factor maybe that you might not have if you don't have the card box, for example. You just have a deck.
yeah,
You just by default can't really do SE wins, whereas you could technically still do the ice.
yeah, yeah. That's true. I don't know. It's debatable, but I do
I
think
feel like
like
this is so random because I feel like when we did all our research of discussing like all the discussions about best any card any number,
mhm.
like nobody was talking about the ice cold any
No,
card any
I
number.
know
Like
it's gonna
it's
be
funny that we're turning this into like head to head between icy wind and ice cold any card any number. Like I don't think it was really on anyone's radar, but
no,
I don't know why not. To be honest, like it's so solid.
yeah, it really is. Yeah, yeah, but yeah,
Also, if you want to buy the ice cold any card any number, go to illusionist.com slash ice cold any ice
just
dash
search
cold
ice
dash
cold
any
any
card any
number
number
into
ACAAN. I don't know.
yeah,
Use the code the Daily Magician, get 10% off at checkout.
yeah. But yeah, talking about memdeck, I mean, I think it really is just like I mean, it just is. It's the method, really. I think it is like by far one of the strongest methods you can use. But anyway, to kind of gather our thoughts and maybe come back to a bit of normalcy in the formula on this podcast, stack work plus any card any number, I do believe creates the cleanest outcome. Honestly, I
Hmm.
do think it is just like the
I mean, it's
perfect
just it's
combo.
built for it really. Like
You,
you're doing a trick in which a card is discovered at a certain position or number in the deck, and you're
mhm.
doing it with a deck where you already know the position of
Yeah,
every card in the deck. Like the two things are made for each other, so it makes sense that
yeah,
the
it's nice
cleanest
to make them happen.
outcomes come from using a stack. So we
Yeah,
highly
exactly.
recommend learning the stack if you haven't already,
Yeah,
if you're interested in this effect. There are many places to do that. Obviously, we're going to promote our own things, but you can feel free to learn it any way you like, whatever's really getting you the results. Just go for it. But Master Any Stack, the app, is a great place to start.
mhm.
Also, Skyscraper Method 2.0, we've talked about it already, but
Yeah,
great resources for learning Stack in there as well.
yeah, exactly. I think after that we talked about. I think it was just a kind of like a few other methods. There was like the Crusade.
Crusade.
We talked about a few other things. Maybe we can just kind of leave those where they are, and
Hmm.
you can go check out the video.
Yeah.
Maybe let's talk about a few other methods that we didn't get to in the video now.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not?
Maybe let's begin with Darren Brown's.
Darren Brown.
If you haven't seen that, I don't know how. I don't even know how you're going to make it to the end of this video with how many things we're trying to like send you to go look
I
at.
know, yeah. You got like 50 tabs open right now. I'm just like, stop with the new tabs.
But if you haven't seen it, search Darren
It's
Brown,
good. It's so good.
any card, any number. It's really solid.
It's really fun. And it's a great, I think what we talked about before we recorded it, we were like, so what do we talk about here? Because we don't, this isn't like, as far as I know, Darren Brown's not like selling this on Illusionist. So it's not something we're just going to purchase and start reviewing. Like we can have some guesses, some speculation as to what may or may not be involved, but it feels a little bit like, well, we don't know for sure. So are we just wasting your time by doing that?
Yeah.
So in the end, what we came down to was just focusing on actually what's really cool here is Darren Brown has basically he's done any card at any number, and it's a very good one, but I don't think it's like worlds beyond or worlds different to some of the any card at any numbers we've talked about in this video method wise. But he just presents it so well, and he finds a way to make any card at any number feel incredibly compelling and just incredibly, special of a moment and really impressive. And that is, as we talked about previously, one of the biggest issues with any card at any number is that we intrinsically love the plot so much as magicians that we forget that we have to try or we have to work in order to get audiences to enjoy it too. Because if you go to a magician, you say, "Hey, I've got a great method for an any card at any number. Do you want to watch it?" They are just going to be intrinsically entertained by the notion of a new method or is this going to be a good any card
And
at any number?
honestly, if you're calling a magician, you probably wouldn't even do any fancy pattern.
Exactly.
Like it would maybe be detracting.
Yeah, it's very method focused. And then we forget when we go to spectators that they're not maybe as intrinsically captivated by this plot as we are as magicians. And so we have to put in a bit of work to kind of make them care. And what Darren Brown does really well is he makes us care.
Yeah.
And, he's telling this story about he was in primary school and some guy grabbed the cards and was like, "Hey, if you're really a magician, then you'd be able to tell me what card, like where my card is and tell me what position it is in the deck." And then he couldn't, and he threw it on the floor, and Darren's so embarrassed, and just a moment that stayed with him ever since. And today's his chance to prove to that guy that he can do this. And he builds up these stakes and tells that story so well. And just, it goes to show what a difference the presentation makes to an any card, any number.
Well, I mean, it's like an 8-minute trick, really, isn't it? Like when you break
That's how
it,
long
that's how long the video
yeah.
is. I mean, maybe it's like 6 minutes, the actual
Mhm.
performance, but like it's quite long for the components that he had in it. Yeah, and like you said, I think just if you go and watch Darren Brown, it's a masterclass on showmanship on how the any card, any number plot can feel when presented correctly.
Yeah, agreed.
I guess a few other ones we should touch on then. Peter Turner, he has had
Many
and any card at any number.
many cards at many numbers.
Yeah, seems to have almost an infinite amount of methods for performing the any card at any number plot. He must really like it.
Yeah.
One of them that we watched was in the How to Read Minds 2 kit. That was, I mean, that thing looks crazy on.
It looked
that
really good.
performance,
Yeah, we were close to thinking about it, but then we were like, I don't know what we're gonna drop, like 120, whatever it is. But if you want to drop 120, use code the Daily Magician.
Oh, no. They're not even watching at this point. How many times we've sent them to get stuff?
Yeah, no. I mean, it looks like a good product. I think at some point we'll probably grab them and maybe do some reviews of the kits on a whole. But yeah, it looked great basically. So you can go check that out for yourself. But I've also heard, and we heard a little bit just when we were doing research for this video. It was hard to do research without coming across like places where people were talking about
posts from like 11 years ago. They're like, "Have you seen Peter Turner's? Like, I saw the convention. It's so good." So I mean, we want.
Apparently, Peter Turner does this thing that's like it's not like a published thing. He just does this, and it's like his purist any card any number where he would just go to a magician and be like, you can do it over a video call in person. Just like, hey, your card's your box. Name a number, name a card. Boom. Just very pure conditions.
Yeah.
And this is something we've seen a lot of people discussing online. It's not something we've seen ourselves, so we're not gonna like talk about it too much. But
it's fun
cool. It's fun that like the legend is out there. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool to see that legend growing over time. And
we love a bit of magic lore.
Yeah.
And that's some cool magic lore.
That's and respect to Peter for for building that and pulling that off enough times that it has turned into this piece of kind of magic lore. Because it's almost impossible to read these posts and not be like, okay, I've got to see this for myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and especially as magicians, like, we love seeing something we've never seen before, and it seems like that's what Peter's done for a lot of people with this. So, big respect to Peter for that.
Yeah.
And if you know of any videos of it, apparently there used to be some videos of it online, but when we looked at them, they were like no longer
taken off.
no longer
Which
online.
again is super cool.
Yeah, it just adds
Builds
to
the
the
suspense. Yeah, I like it a lot.
So yeah, we don't have too much to comment on this, but just thought it was like a cool piece of trivia about the any card any number.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of trivia,
Mhm.
I want to repeat what we talked about yesterday, which is that we were just talking about Darren Brown, and we were talking about how do you make this feel as impressive as you can. And I think one of the confusing things about the any card any number is that in some ways it's less impressive than it feels like it should be,
Yeah.
because your notion is that if I'm guessing a random card out of 52 and a random number out of 52, the odds of me doing that is basically 52 times 52, and it's the result of that is 2,704. I believe this is something I picked up in A.C.A.A.N.s book when he was talking about it. And so it's sort of implicit that the odds are 1 in almost 3,000. But because you're using a deck of cards, you actually have basically you've got 52 built-in predictions, because you've got the Three of Hearts, which is the second card right now, and then you've got the Two of Clubs, which is the 52nd card right now, and so you have basically 52 different chances to be right in this deck, technically or whatever. Which then 52 out of 2,704 brings it back down to 1 in 52. I think that's how it works. It's a little confusing, but the more you can do, I guess, to make it feel like the first case of the 1 in 3,000 and not the second of 1 in 52, the better. And I think that's where a lot of the presentation comes in.
Yeah. And actually, we were talking about this and we were thinking, man, what would be like the ultimate magician fooler? Like, what would be just like the sickest performance we could do at a convention and people would just be like, man, I need to see this. We were thinking, what if you put an envelope on the table and it just had one card in it, and that's it. And you just say, okay, pick a card, pick a number. Okay, great. They name it. Let's say they say Ace of Clubs, 43. You open up the envelope, and in Sharpie, written on the Ace of Clubs, is the number 43. This is the Seven of Diamonds. I don't even know why I'm getting excited about it. Like I'm going to turn over and it's going to be solved.
Yeah.
But we thought that would be such a strong effect.
Yeah, and you would still present it, I think, like an any card any number, and you would say, hey, before this trick started or at home, I was going through my deck, and I thought of a number and I counted down to that number, and then I looked at the card at that number and I wrote the number, the position it was in, on the back, and then I put it in an envelope. And that you can talk about how a lot of magicians do this with the whole deck, which gives them a lot of outs and all this. But I've just got one card here, and I'm certain this is the card, and you have the number on it, and like technically, I think that would be a 1 in 3,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have a method for that.
If you know of anything like this, I mean, we're probably gonna be working on this maybe, and definitely I know it'll be spinning around in our brains. Like I think it'll be something that we'll try and create a method for, even if it's just hypothetical.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if we can just
Like we
figure
have,
out how it can be
yeah,
done.
we have one notion so far. It's not amazing, but it's like a starting point. We won't get into it here because I think it's too early. But like, I think there's room for many other potentially better methods. But
And I guess we should explain what we want the conditions to look like. It would be cool if it wasn't like, at the very least, if there wasn't more than like 4 cards in the envelope or whatever.
well, there should be one, right? Because it's
I know. I'm just saying, if it's like an index envelope, I mean, it'd be cool if it just wasn't an index envelope. Basically,
well, I don't care if it's an index envelope as long as it looks like there's one card. Like,
Yeah,
like
no.
if I gave you a method and I said, "Hey, here's an envelope," and I just open it up and it looks like an empty envelope apart from one card, and the card has got the thing on it, and then I told you afterwards, did you know there's actually 52 playing cards in this envelope, and that's the method? I wouldn't be disappointed by that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's still incredibly difficult because that's the thing when you're talking about like.
But I'm just saying that that would be so hard to have.
Yeah.
Well, of course, yeah, it'd be more than 52 cards in that. You know what I mean? Like there'd be so many. But I think as long as it looks like there's one card in the envelope, yeah.
Well, it's just like, I mean, anyway, we're getting into the semantics before we've created the effect. But if anyone has a really cool method for it, please let us know.
Yeah.
Like, we really want to like jam on this. We think it
Mhm.
would be just super fun
Yeah.
thing to perform, and also just fry
Yeah.
magicians
And like
and
we
also
said,
spectators.
ideal conditions would be freely named card, freely named number, envelope, one card in there, number written on the named card.
Yep,
So
hit
that
us
would
up.
be the goal.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll see where we go from here.
Yeah,
We
we'll
might never
see.
talk about it again if we if we can't come up with a method.
Yeah, hopefully it sparks something though, because I feel like this is the kind of thing sometimes when magicians like lay down a plot, like a challenge, it's almost like
Yeah,
or a problem. We can call it a problem. You know what I mean? You've got like the Hobsons of problems, and you've had magicians for years trying to come up with different ways of doing them. So
yeah.
we can just call this something
The Daily
problem.
Magician riddle.
Yeah. Nah, we'll call it a problem.
Okay, fair.
Magicians like they love that, like the 1 in 3,000 problem or something.
Ooh, okay. We can go with that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's way better than what I was saying. It makes the Daily Magician riddle seem a little silly. But yeah, no, if you have any ideas or any starting points, obviously we thought about switches, we thought about gimmick decks, thought about a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, if you have any ideas, please comment down below or just reach out to us personally.
hmm
Support at the Daily Magician or Benji at the Daily Magician or Jacob at the Daily
hmm
Magician.com. Those are
Yeah.
our email addresses.
Yeah. And then I guess there was like slightly softer versions of that effect, but still similar-ish would be if you had like it's a blank deck, but then you count down to 37 and it's the 7 of clubs and like that's the card. Like we should shout out. I know Joel Dickinson has A.C.A.A.N.,
Hmm.
which I believe is similar to that, or using a deck like an Omni deck, but like where the cards are literally just like transparent, so it's not even like a normal back blank card, but they're just purely transparent cards, and then there's one card in there.
Mhm.
That would also be cool. So we'll potentially runners up could include those effects, not to sort of
Demean them.
demean them at all. Great effects, but yeah, we really want to go for this envelope one. So before we finish, I just feel like we can't make 2 videos about the Any number and not mention the name like David Burglas.
Hmm.
So we should point out that obviously the Any number has a long history, but it really became, I think, popular among magicians, and it became this like mythical effect, like through the work of David Burglas.
Hmm.
The book, The Burglas Effect, is one that we wanted to get before this video, but we just didn't get around to it, which sounds very lazy when I say it like that.
Maybe it was.
It was, but it gives us fuel for another video
Hmm.
if it comes to that. And yeah, the Burglas Effect that was what sort of lay down the initial challenge of like the conditions for the perfect any card any number, where it's deck is in view the whole time, it's never touched by the magician, card is named freely, numbers named freely, it's found out that number. There's a video, a very famous video of David Burglas doing that, and over the years, this is something I feel like every version of the plot that's been put out has been trying to attack this from some angle and get as close to it as it can.
Hmm.
And I feel like obviously we just need to credit that here
Yeah.
as being the inspiration for so many of these and just a big part of the any card any number history.
Thank you, David Burglas. Yeah. Well, all that being said, there are so many any number plots that we did not touch on in the YouTube video. We said we'd love to make a sequel, talking about more of them. If you have some that you think are absolutely incredible, that will blow us away,
Mm-hmm.
that we haven't talked about, please comment down below. Let us know which ones we should look at, which ones we should dig into, because we really do plan on making another any card any number video. We really will make it. So we will read every comment. Let us know which ones you think we missed. If you have your own methods, and I'm sure you do because so many musicians have worked on this plot independently, feel free to send them our way or send us a performance video. I'm not asking you to share your methods with us if you don't want to. But yeah, we also have our own any card any number plot that we've been working on that's new and original. We'll probably play the video for that now.
Okay, we're gonna try this trick. I have here the timer app on my phone. I'm gonna set a timer, maybe like a minute, maybe a little bit less. And the aim of the game is that Jared is going to come up with a card before the timer hits 0, but I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know if it'll be quick or take a while. Maybe I'll give myself a bit of extra time to be safe. But, start that. Okay. Do you want red cards or black cards?
Black.
Black. Do you want spades, clubs?
Spades.
Spades. Perfect. and then you have A's, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of these, you know them, think about them.
Go for the 9 of spades.
9 of spades.
Yeah.
Sure about that?
Yeah. Pretty
Okay.
sure.
Okay, interesting. On my phone, we have this timer. It's been running. Pause it right here.
Yeah.
23 seconds left on the clock. No way I could have known you were going to say that, what was it, 9 of spades?
Yeah.
Or that it would leave us with 23 seconds to spare. But if the 9 of spades was the 23rd card in this deck, that would be insane.
Pretty cool. I can check.
Yeah, you can check. And I really hope it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
What the heck?
Nice.
What? You're crazy.
I have here on my phone a timer for about a minute. Maybe I'll give us just a tad longer because I need to explain how this works to you. But I've got that started right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the game is, if I put my phone down, that you're going to choose a card before the timer hits 0.
Okay.
Key thing is here that I want this to be really unpredictable.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you some questions, and you can either be quick with it, or you can really take a while in your answers.
Okay.
Okay, does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Do you want red cards or black cards?
Red.
Red? Oh, that's pretty quick. Do you want hearts or diamonds?
Diamonds.
Okay, diamonds. Okay, and now of all the diamonds, I want you to just really think about this, and whenever you're ready, let me know which diamond you want.
Okay. 6?
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. There, right?
Feels that way.
Okay, keep that in mind. Again, this should be really unpredictable, but we are at exactly 6 seconds left on the timer.
Mm-hmm.
That should have been unpredictable. But what if I told you I did predict this before we came here?
Okay.
I had a feeling not only that you would say 6 of diamonds, but that it would take you exactly as long as it took you to come to that decision. And to prove it, I put the 6 of diamonds in the 6th position in this deck. So if you deal 6 cards,
okay,
it'll be fine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 of diamonds.
Nice.
Very nice. Really, really, really nice. If not, you can go find the full details on it below in the description of this video or in the description of this podcast if you are listening on the audio-only version. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything we have to say. We have a lot to say about the A.C.A.A.N.
Yeah.
plot, as it turns out, because we thought maybe this podcast would be. Well, we wanted to be. At first, we just started filming it, saying like, "Oh, do we have more to say? Maybe we won't actually use it in the future." But I think you will be seeing this because this turned out to be really fun.
Yeah.
Really fun to record.
I just remember there's actually one more.
Yeah.
That Lloyd Barnes one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, case in point, as far as asking you guys to send us more A.C.A.A.N. number videos, I happened to find one this morning that I'd forgotten about until now. It's a video on Lloyd Barnes' channel where a guy called Kevin Ost does an A.C.A.A.N. number, and then Peter Turner and Craig Petty reacts to it. Just showing it to Jacob, and basically it's really good, and don't really know how it works. But that's a beautiful example of there's probably so many more like that out there that we haven't seen yet. So please send them in. We want to collect as many of these as we can. Mm-hmm. That one, definitely recommend go checking it out. Like, very, very, very clean looking A.C.A.A.N. number. I got like one notion of like something that could be happening, but if that is what's happening, it's crazy, the method. If that's what the method is, like, that's nuts. And I almost respect it more.
Yeah, that would be wild.
I mean, either way, I guess whatever the method is, I respect it because it looks very good. But I guess I can't talk too much about it because we don't know the method, so all that is up in the air. But yeah, check that one out as well. Just check them all out. Open another tab, why don't you? Yeah.
All right, well, if we don't turn this camera off, we will talk for the next 7 hours about any number. Yep. So at some point, all the fun does have to come to an end. Again, if you're interested in our new project, go check it out. We'd really appreciate your support. We've asked you for a million comments at this point, so whatever you decide to comment on works for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next podcast.
See you in the next one.